Hello, thanks for joining me once again as we talk about another topic here in our tech class. This video will be discussing some of the principles of friction, animals that use friction and how they use it to survive, and then of course how do we relate that back to nanotechnology, which is what this week's lesson's been all about. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about the principles of friction. And first we really need to understand, well, what is friction, right? Friction is the resistance, the force of resistance between layers. So you might have a solid surface, a fluid layer, or a material element, and the force that is generated between those two elements sliding against each other. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about animals that use friction and how they use friction to survive in the wild, right? So, snakes, for example. I hate snakes, but snakes use friction. Their scales are perfectly designed to provide them friction to help them slither across the ground, right? Without that friction, just like our walking, we wouldn't be able to move. And so snakes, of course, just like any other creature or animal, need that friction in order to survive. They've got to be able to find their food and shelter, avoid prey or attack prey, right? And so they use that friction in that manner. Tree frogs have special pads that help them to apply friction and stick to slick surfaces. Beetles and insects, again, use that friction in order to climb vertical surfaces and be able to stick to that kind of stuff. Without friction, they wouldn't be able to scale walls and get in our houses, for heaven's sakes. So those are some animals that use friction. Okay, so how can we relate, if I could talk, how can we relate nanotechnology with friction? Well, really, if we think about it, at the nanoscale, it's the combination of multiple atoms, two atoms, touching each other and rubbing against each other. And it's really more like a rough surface that is caused at that nanoscale to cause that friction, right? My hands may feel smooth, but really at the nanoscale, it's rough particles, atoms that are grabbing each other and causing friction. Now, on the other hand, nanotechnology can be used in lubricants. There are lubricants out there that have a nanotechnology embedded in them that allow them to do the opposite and have a lubricating factor to them in order to interact in a smooth manner. Okay, well, there you have it. The principles of friction, the relationship between friction and animals, and of course the relationship between nanotechnology and friction. Thanks.